Here, come here. I'm going to tell you a story. Come here. It's a long story, but the greatest untold story there has ever been. Your modernized yin-yang future. Total Theory is about liberating the future of your uniquely intimate inner life. You have been robbed of it. You have been robbed of your authentic human being. It is outrageous, a moment-by-moment daily theft. You want it back? Well, in what follows, Total Theory reclaims it for you for nothing. You may already think it's shocking, mistaken, even mad of me to make such outrageous claims, but there are more, even more outrageous claims to come. I stand by them, and the truth will out. Total Theory will shock almost everyone. But don't believe my outrageous claims, test them. You should doubt what I say until you know it for yourself. How else could you be liberated from anything at all? This is the whole point. Your individual inner life and its springs to action is the topic itself. You, not specialist researchers, are the authority on your inner truth. I will refer to very few specialists. You are at the center of everything, and you and no one else are the judge of its truth. My role is simply to bring your modernized, already existing, inner yin-yang truth into relief. Your role is to test it, confirm it on merit, or reject it on its deficiency. Everything hangs on your test. Among other things, therefore, this series on Total Theory is an active experiment in mutual understanding. You are both the thinking subject, and your yin-yang inner life and mine too, each within the other, is the object. My inner life is the mirror image of yours, and agreement on the result is the centerpiece of Total Theory. If the experiment succeeds, it will have momentous implications. Truth, therefore, is bigger than big in Total Theory. I want to unlock your sleeping genius, and that's not even the half of it. My genius cannot flourish without yours. I want to reunite your emotional and your instrumental intelligence in a pending revolutionary new beginning. Let's do this together. To quote a great 19th century thinker, I would rather be a devil in alliance with truth than an angel in alliance with falsehood. Ludwig Feuerbach, 1843. Angels have had their day, and they've made a real mess of things. Truth is the thing, and it is big. But truth isn't what you think it is. It is what you already know. I know you know it intuitively. You couldn't be human otherwise, and a yin-yang hint of it has already been remarked. In contrast, specialist thinkers press their external truth on you. They tell you what you are supposed to believe. While here, I expose what is already in you, just waiting to come out. In short, thinkers down the ages, philosophers most particularly, search for truth within the restrictions of philosophy and its almost impossible philosophical terms. This should be made clear from the start, therefore. Philosophers are not in the least interested in you as individuals, or in what you have to say or think. Philosophy is an elitist enterprise in which everything is reduced to philosophy for philosophers. Everything is squeezed into concepts and a language that excludes almost everyone outside of their purely philosophical straitjacket. They search for truth in philosophy itself, when the truth that matters is already at play in practice in each and every one of us. The truth revealed by philosophy, therefore, is the truth of philosophy in itself, about itself, and more or less strictly for itself. It may appear otherwise, but this is the meaning of philosophy. It is a specialist sort of navel-gazing, mind examining itself. Its detail about the external field may occasionally ring true, but the justifications for these occasional flashes of insight and truth are almost invariably obscure at best, and often misguided, but usually non-existent. The aura of specialist authority covers over all too much that is doubtful, to say the least, and for so long as it is privileged as authorship in the meaning of experience, society, history, art, and so on, your common sense is second-rated and marginalized. In fact, philosophers are at least as confused as anyone else, and they add to confusion in almost everything they do and say. They often miss the real point spectacularly. The plain fact is that the truth that matters cannot be found in philosophy. Rather, the truth that matters, the truth that really matters, is already in all of us, and one pointed example confirms it. One very famous culture critic said this: "The particular and the general, the thing and its meaning." Frederick Jameson, 1990, page 168. The context in this case is unimportant. Rather, Jameson was saying that the meaning of the concrete named thing is the general. This is at best only half true, but confused, confusing, and very misleading. The relationship of the general and the particular is one of the great mysteries of philosophy, and the yin-yang dialectic is its more or less simple solution. Every yin-yang unit is the compound unity of two diametrically opposed particulars, one idea, an integrated whole, and as we shall see later, an instance of the universal constant, the master concept of total theory. Within the requirements of yin-yang dialectic, the whole, that is, the general, sometimes called the universal, is composed by and composes the meaning of its composing inner particulars. When a given particular, therefore, is concrete, as, for example, a grain of sand, the whole that is a heap of sand, the general, is concrete too. The whole is not, therefore, the meaning of the single grain, as stated by Jameson. Rather, it is an aggregate of identical concrete meanings, and the same applies to society and its composing individuals. This is not the same as saying that each grain of sand in every respect is identical with all others, nor to say that individuals are identical in every respect. They are not. It is rather to say that the logic of each and every particular is the same, identical, and this has a special significance in the human individuals who compose and are composed by society. The logic of society composes the logic of its individuals, and the logic of individuals, conversely and simultaneously, compose society in mutual determination. When thinkers, as culture critics and philosophers, rely, with the best of intentions perhaps, on mistaken assumptions about the relation of the general and the particular, they compose an assault upon truth, and it merely intensifies confusion, Here, in total theory, we rely consistently on the yin-yang solution that empowers the individual and makes a difference of almost inestimable significance. The truth that matters is the greatest force of all, while error, misinformation, ideology and lies that are pressed on us in the guise of truth from the outside are an ever-shifting defence against its claims. Lies and misinformation on a vast scale have been normalised as the passing empirical scene of our species' adolescence in civilization to date. They are always clouded around the underlying a priori sleeping truth without which civilization could not have arisen, and without which, at any point, civilization would simply collapse. However, we have now reached a crisis of truth, in which the collapse of civilization is imminent. But there is hope. Lies and misinformation cannot eliminate the underlying truth without eliminating civilization itself. Hence, the urgent need for total theory. Its appearance here and now was in our destiny from the start. A moment of truth has arisen like no other to date. Truth is the anchor point and guiding light of human being in general. It is also the sleeping basis of your abused, exploited and pacified inner life. Lies and misinformation, in short, are parasitic on an as yet undisclosed underlying truth, and whole industries centred yet in temples, synagogues, churches, shrines in the sky, universities, colleges and schools have been assembled to maintain their all too politically convenient illusions and distortions of truth. But it is confusion that is the real enemy, and the erupting worldwide demand for social justice is the proof of it. Palestine, Ukraine, Syria, the Middle East in general, Hong Kong, and a dozen, maybe 100 others are waiting in the wings to explode. Confusion rules with genius in our adolescent lap. A clash of civilizations, a world war, and perhaps the road to nuclear holocaust is already underway. Confusion is the greatest threat of all, because truth is buried within mountains of confusion, contrived and nurtured by, of all people, our guardians of truth. Priests, scholars, and thinkers of every sort. Confusion kills in vast numbers. It is killing the living world at an ever-accelerating pace as I speak. This is why I speak at all. If you have, or hope to have, children, you owe it to them and their future to reclaim your lost humanity by liberating the sleeping silver bullet of your common sense. Total theory is the guarantee of it. We live in the very best and worst of times. Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. And if some could say this at any point in the past, it has special significance today. Capitalist society in its global form is crumbling around our ears in a last great splurge of consumerism, war, and inauthentic human being in defense of what is now indefensible and actually unsustainable. Total theory has been assembled in aid of something better, and you have an essential role to play. If you want to test your intelligence against the judgments of almost every priest, philosopher, scholar and thinker to date, I'll see you in a bit. Street talk is highly realistic, but it is not enough. The experiment has already begun, and I hope you still believe, as I do, that your intelligence is up to it. See you in a bit.
Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see.